Hey guys, this is Kai from the DDC, and of course, if you're watching this on Music Channel, then you know me as Things Actually VA, the voice of Shadow and Sonic. Hey, whoa.
And this is Mizuki Ravendale of the DDC and also from my own channel, and I voice Ruby amongst other characters.
And of
Hi!
course, we voice the two on little shits.
The Whoopie Whoopie Foxy Flu.
Yes. So 4 weeks ago, Babe here got to experience something for the first time, and all I gotta say is the thing that she experienced the first time, at least the subject of the thing, is definitely better than what I saw back in 2011. And that is, of course, you want to tell him?
Metallica concert.
She saw her first concert four
Yay.
weeks ago.
It was fun.
That whole weekend was fun.
Yeah, the whole weekend was fun, but definitely going to the concert was great.
hmm And so, pretty much, I'm going to explain my history with concerts and, of course, the events leading up to the Metallica concert. I first started going to concerts back in 2011. I saw Motley Crue, Poison, and the New York Dolls opened up for Motley Crue. Um, I was fortunate enough to see the real Motley Crue. Of course, nowadays they are a shell of their former selves, unfortunately. But, you know, it is what it is. Um, when you're going to your first concert, naturally there are things you're going to want to experience. Like, you're going to experience the whole concert. You know, this is a person's time to see if concerts are for them. Because there's a lot of people that love music, but concerts aren't for them. Um, and that could be a various of factors. Um, and of course, there's the merch, which I still have my first concert tee. So the first show that you see is always special because you're just in awe of seeing these bands on stage. You're in awe of seeing all these people. You're in awe of just overall the interesting smells, especially when you're going to a rock and metal concert.
This is true.
Which all I gotta say is no offense to anyone that uses this said thing. I don't know how you guys can tolerate the smell of it. It smells like crap.
It does.
But I'm not here to judge.
Shame.
Um, so I've seen a bunch of concerts. I've seen, obviously, I mentioned my first one. I've seen Guns N' Roses twice. I've seen Black Label Society once. I've seen Styx. I've seen Leonard Skinner. I've seen Ghost.
I was about to say that one.
I've seen Ozzy. I've actually seen Soul Asylum. I was able to see that for free in my hometown, so sweet.
Nice.
Of course, at our uh, local auditorium, I've been seeing some shitty bands and all that. So I'm not sure if people would count those. I've seen Great White. I've seen Night Ranger. I've seen Slash um, by himself. And with Guns, I've seen John Five, the former guitar player Rob Zombie, the current guitar player of Motley Crue, live at the convention I go to every year. Um, Ironically enough, that was actually my last concert before we had the freaking lockdowns too.
Oh, really?
Hmm.
Damn.
Oh, I've seen Slayer, I've seen Behemoth, I've seen Lamb of God, and I've seen Testament. Although, although I gotta re-see Testament, we missed out on them because I was an idiot and I drank a bunch of water before we left, and well, there was only one porta potty, so you can put two and two together. How long I
Oh,
had to wait?
that's not good.
Yeah. Have I mentioned I've seen Ozzy?
Yes.
Okay, that one was another huge one for me because I'm a big Ozzy Osbourne fan. So,
Tis true.
but for you, babe, this was your your currently the one and only concert you've seen thus far.
Yeah, which we didn't get to see Mammoth.
Yeah, we were able to hear them
We
at the
were
time we
able
were
to
in
hear
line.
him while we was in line getting waiting to get shirts.
Hmm.
Um, Wolfgang played after them, right? Or am I remembering that wrong?
No, Wolfgang was first.
Okay, so yeah, we didn't get to see those two, but we heard Mammoth, and then once we got to our seats, Pantera.
Yeah, we get we get driving around 3ish, and then of course for some reason because this was a cool thing and a bad thing. The same weekend that the Metallica takeover of Chicago was happening, it was also the air show at the same time. So, and because of how close the stadium is to the actual area that the air show takes place on, um, let's just say, let me just hint at this before we get to the juicy details, is that there's a good chance both on Friday and Sunday, people saw probably some really cool sights over in the stadium.
Oh yeah.
And there was this perfect moment when Pantera was playing, and it was the perfect moment. It was the perfect song, and it was like it almost seemed like it was done on purpose. It
Yeah,
was that
I
perfect.
actually I actually thought it was done on purpose because I didn't know about the air show thing until after the fact.
Um, but there was a semi that was trying to get in front of us, and it was bad.
Oh, the
Like
traffic was crazy. Oh god, but that semi, dear god.
there was something that weekend with semis.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so we get to the we get to Starters Field, which is my second time being there. Like I said, I saw Guns N' Roses back in 2016, and of course, being a freaking Chicago sports fan, actually, it was kind of cool being in the same place that the Bears play at when they're having home games. Um, so we we park underground because we had a parking spot reserved for us, and we went through the security checking stuff, um, which honestly was a good thing that you kept your bag in the car.
Mhm.
Um, and then, of course, I mentioned how we could just wait till after the show to get it. T-shirt, and my brother-in-law tells me that no, you're probably better off getting it during the beginning. Which here's, I think we would have been fine because there was a lot of merch areas.
There
Not
really
only that,
was.
not only that, I got my Motley Crue T-shirt after the show was done.
Yeah, plus from what I remember afterwards, it looked like there was still a lot of stuff left over. I could be wrong on that, but it looked like it.
Um, but we got our T-shirts, which was awesome because that was my first concert piece since I saw Styx. Um, and so we're trying to find our seats. Well, we basically did a whole lap around the freaking place.
And we didn't know it until yeah, we walked in a circle.
Mm-hmm. And we got to our seats, and this was before Pantera went on. And naturally, if I had the money, I would have been down on the floor, either in the snake pit or the
Or the
general
out.
audience area,
Yeah, I was about to say outside the circle.
because I guess I'm not trying to sound elitist or nothing like that, but it's like, Metallica is one of my all-time favorite bands. I guess I felt a little bit like, well, me being up here just makes me seem like I'm a casual fan when I'm not.
That is understandable.
I understand we had to get what we had to get, which I'm thankful that we were able to see Metallica. But if I had the funds, I would have upgraded us all to better seats, at least. That would
Oh
have been a little bit more
yeah.
closer. Um, and so Pantera goes on. Now, naturally, this Pantera tour has caused some controversy because a lot of people think it's a money grab. People think it's disrespectful to Dimebag and Vinny. And in my opinion, all I gotta say is this: you don't have to go if you feel like this is, if you honestly feel like this is disrespectful to Dimebag and Vinny. I know what Vinny Paul said when he was live off Bill, but if Dimebag was still alive, I would imagine instead of doing this tribute tour, we probably would have gotten a freaking Pantera reunion
Oh yeah.
with all four guys. Um, I know that for me, as someone that was never going to have a chance to see, you know, the real Pantera, this was going to be a way for me to say I saw Pantera. I saw a version of Pantera.
Pantera, yeah.
It's not the Pantera I prefer. It's not the Pantera I would rather have. But the two guys they got filling in for Dime and Vinny, I think they are worth the spot because they are longtime friends. And those two guys, just so that people don't know, is Charlie Benante on drums, who plays for Anthrax, who I also saw when I saw Slayer. Um, Great drummer. He's a great drummer.
He really is.
And of course, Zach Wild, which this is my third time I've seen him because I've seen him with his own band back in 2011. I've seen him with Ozzy, and I've seen him now with Pantera. Every concert I go to now always has him, but at least it feels like that.
True.
Um, so the set list they played has been their typical set list that they've been doing when they open for Metallica. It's no thrills. It's well, correction. It's all thrills, no fills. It's a really great set list,
It is. It really is.
and I'm sorry for taking the spot that's supposed to be about you.
Nah, babe, it's fine.
So they start out with a tribute to Dimebag and Vinny by playing this video. While regular people was playing over the PA,
Yep.
uh, they were they were showing footage from vulgar videos, which I'm not gonna lie, I got a little bit. I probably
Emotional.
felt a little bit emotional, yeah, because the way that Dime left this earth was so horrible.
It was. It really was,
No
from what
one,
you've told me.
um, and what's also scary too is that he passed away the same day that John Lennon, back in 1980. Do do
Yeah.
do 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 do. So they open up with a new level, Mouth for War. Now this is the thing I hinted at. While they play Mouth for War, four black Apache helicopters flew past the stadium,
It looked so cool, too.
and because of the timing of it, it was almost seemed like they planned it. But then finding out that those were the air show rehearsals, well, that was just a pretty cool coincidence.
Coincidence. I actually thought it was on purpose because I didn't know about the air show thing.
Um, Hell, people on Sunday had the freaking Blue Angels fly over them.
Bro.
Yeah. And then they did Strength Beyond Strength. They did Becoming, Unbroken, 5 Minutes Alone, This Love, Fucking Hostile, of course, Walk, and the medley where they combine Domination and Hollow, and then, of course, Cowboys from Hell. So it's a
Yep.
great set list. Um, a lot of my favorites that they played. I wish they played Floods from Southern Tranquil because they've been playing that, and I've seen footage of Zach playing the solo, and he does it pretty accurately.
Damn.
Um, so, what was your first impressions of seeing this version of Pantera?
They did really well, in my opinion.
Do you feel it was disrespectful in any way to Dimebag and Vinny?
No.
I have to agree because you can tell that they're honest about this is for them.
Yeah.
And this is the one thing I'll say. I understand why Vinnie Paul was angry at Phil. If there's one thing I've learned from this whole thing with my mom being gone, life is too short to hold grudges. And
Oh,
that's all I'm going to say. Um, on the flip side, should Phil have said what he said during that interview that pissed Vinnie Paul off? No, of course not. Phil was a complete idiot for doing that. But
yeah.
it is what it is. You know, both of them are gone. And it sucks. Um,
It does.
that, it sucks that the version of Pantera I'm going to have to see now is not the true original lineup, but you know what? I'm fine with it.
I am too.
Um, And so, what song did you really enjoy from Pantera?
Oh God. There was one song I was hoping they would play, but it wasn't on their set list.
What?
Tens. I was kind of hoping they would play that.
That would have been cool if they played it, because it's like I would just look at you and I would just be like, "My key is rising, it's
It's
overflowing."
overflowing.
Because
Yeah, because
that's.
it's Broly's theme. Z Broly's
Hmm.
theme.
Hmm.
But I think the song, because I think, like you said, it took me a bit to realize the fact, holy shit, I'm actually seeing a concert.
Yeah.
But from just sitting there listening, and I did join in on some of the songs for Pantera when I memorized the lyrics, because me listening to so many different types of songs, I can remember the lyrics to them, but when it comes to me actually singing them along with people and not fully know the lyrics, my brain just kind of goes. um, but I do think the ones I remember, I like the whole set list, but me probably Walking Cowboys from Hell.
Of course, it's those two.
Wow! Wow! Okay, I see how. I see how it is,
Casual fan over here, cat. I'm kidding.
motherfucker. If I was
My
a
favorite
casual fan,
song
I wouldn't have
that
went.
they, my favorite song that they played was "Becoming."
Oh yeah, because I forgot about
I
that
learned
one.
that
I like that one too.
I learned that song, and that's actually why I wanted a damn whammy pedal so I could do those. That
Yeah.
was adorable. That was adorable.
No.
Um, and now, if I have to say, did I headbang? No, because I was. You guys gotta remember, this was my first this was my first like
This is your
big
first
concert
actual.
since
Yeah.
probably since Ozzy.
Yeah. I mean, there were a few times you like slightly headbanged, but not full on headbanged.
Well, let me tell you, and I bet you saw on my face when I started hearing the dun 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 dun. You probably saw the screen just come across my face.
Yeah, I did.
Um, and then of course, we all decided to get snacks and drinks, and so here's me and Dave standing in line. I get a Sprite, and we both get nachos. I got my nachos with jalapenos,
I got regular nachos just with the cheese because I can't have too much spicy stuff at once.
which is understandable. And then of course there's my brother-in-law that got this pizza. You had this tiny box, you had this big box and this tiny slice of pizza. I saw that, I'm like, what
That
the?
was the that was the smallest slice of pizza I have ever saw in my whole life. It was so
That's
tiny.
like,
And he said they
that's,
charged him what? How much
I think
for
it's
it?
wasn't it like $16?
Yeah, somewhere through there for that. And I'm saying, I would go ask for a refund or a bigger slice for that much.
Um, that was really the whole expectations reality meme.
Mm-hmm.
But
Expectations, you're expecting this big slice, but no.
and then of course it's getting darker, and then they started playing the AC/DC song. It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll,
Yeah.
which is what they always do because it's kind of like you know that's how they get their fans pumped first, and then you hear the gunshots, the light turns off, and then you hear do do
Do
do
do
do
do.
do 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 do, and everyone stands up, and I started getting even a bit more emotional because it's like, these are Metallica's the main reason why I wanted to play metal in the first place.
Yeah. I can definitely
And
tell with them playing ACDC to get their feds pumped up, it definitely pumped me up because as soon as I started hearing it, I immediately recognized, wait a minute, this is ACDC. Hold up.
long waiting time if you want to rock and roll.
Yeah, I immediately recognized it was ACDC.
And then let me pull up their set list because we're gonna go song by song.
Oh
This
boy.
is like I said, I freaking enjoyed Pantera, but you were there to mainly see Metallica.
Yeah.
Um, and then of course too, like the crowd is getting nuts because there's something like a band come up the stage, and then all of a sudden you hear they started playing Creeping Death, which had me ecstatic because if people don't know, Ride the Lightning was my first true Metallica album that made me a fan of them. Which more on that later. So like for me, Ride the Lightning, in my opinion, is their best album. I
It's
mean,
a really good album.
there's a lot of people that prefer it over Puppets. James Hetfield has even said that's his favorite album. And anyways, after that they play another great song, this time from And Just For All, Harvester of Sorrow.
Yeah.
Um, Again, another album that I listened to a crap ton of times. Fun fact, it was actually the first album I purchased on iTunes when I got my iPod.
Well, dang. Okay, that worked.
Um, so what was your impressions on the first two songs that they played?
I really liked them, especially with the effect stuff that was with the they was doing with the lights and the big screen things they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
As a person going there, that really, what's the word for it?
Enhances the concert.
Yeah, it really enhances it. Plus, it also excited me because I'm sitting here also being like, okay, this is my first concert and seeing all this. This is really cool. Because my artist side was coming out a little bit too. I just didn't show it. Because what they
And
did with the effects was great.
mm-hmm, Metallica has always been good at that too. Um, and of course, with like Metallica, I sang a lot of the songs, like for Creeping Death. Once it got to the breakdown, and was like, die, die, die.
Die! Yeah, I only joined in on that because, as I have explained, where I've listened to so many songs, the lyrics get mixed together for me. So,
And of course, with me, right? Everyone else is saying die. Then here's me, who's a massive Metallica nerd. I'm doing the freaking live version to where they say die, mother effer, die.
yeah, I forgot they did. They said that. Fudge.
Mm-hmm. They were even doing it there. Um, Once again, Creeping Death is a
Creepy Death.
fantastic Metallica song.
Oh, it really is. And the fact they started off with that.
That's another riff you will hear me play.
I have heard you play it from time to time. Because I did
And then they
recognize
play,
it when they played it.
and then they played Oh yeah, what was your opinion on a Harvester?
I really liked Harvester.
Yeah, that's a great song from a very
Yeah.
underrated album.
Yeah, it's a
Because
really good
unfortunately,
song.
the problem with Just for All is that the only problem is that it's stuck between two behemoths of an album, Master of Puppets and
But
the Black Album.
yeah.
Uh, but when it comes to being a musician, that album is just so a lot of those songs on there are so challenging to play. I mean,
Oh
Babe has really
yeah.
struggled with a lot of those songs.
Yeah, I have. I've heard the frustration.
But that album is borderline proggy. It's a borderline prog metal album. Um, and then they played Holier Than Thou from the Black Album,
Which was a great song.
which I was, which I'm happy they played that because if I had to hear Enter Sandman, naturally they would have played Enter Sandman at the end. But if I had to hear any of the other overrated songs from the Black Album, I would have been groaning to myself. Usually I like those songs. I'm just sick of hearing them.
Which is understandable.
Um, so and Holier Than Thou is actually one of my favorite songs from the Black
The
Album
Black Album,
because
yeah.
it's more in line with their roots. Because what's interesting too, I was having a conversation with my brother-in-law um, the weekend, well, last weekend, and he said, which I disagreed with, is that a lot of people back then considered the Black Album a freaking alternative album, and it's like, no, it's not. It's not a freaking alternative rock album. People still
No.
called it metal back then. Actually, dare I say, a lot of the '90s Metallica albums are not even alternative.
No. They may seem
Um,
like it, but they aren't.
no. Speaking of which, the next song they played was King Nothing from Load, which made me happy because that's another one of my favorite songs from that album. Well, from Load. It's one of my favorite songs from Load.
Yay.
I know that there's a lot of Metallica fans that dislike Load and Reload still, but I like them. They're
I like
not
them
my
too.
favorites, but I like them. They're just good old fashioned hard rock, heavy bluesy rock.
Yeah.
Um, and then they played a new song from 72 Seasons, the title track, which again, I find it funny that this concert was playing a lot of songs I tend to play a lot.
Yeah.
And 72 Seasons was one of them.
That one they
Um,
did great with.
mhm. And then they played another new one, which was If Darkness Had a Sun. That sounded great live too.
Oh, yeah, it really did.
And then Kirk and Rob did their little jam session, which has mixed opinions. A lot of people think it's cringe. A lot of people love it.
I liked
Um,
it.
yeah, they did this thing called Cheetown Gangster, which obviously is a reference to Chicago and the fact that it has a mafia history because of
Yeah.
Al Capone and the Saint Valentine's Day massacre. Um, and I thought that sounded great. Like I actually liked what they did. It was very funky.
Yeah, I liked what they did too.
I mean, it was nothing weird seeing Kirk play a freaking Strat and running a Strat with single coils. That was definitely
True.
interesting.
That was interesting.
Um, and then they played another one from Ride the Lightning, which this one had a cool video screen effect, which was
Oh,
fade to black.
yeah, that one. The video screen effect for that was really cool.
Which that song was it's interesting because that song to me has some history. because back in 2018, I lost two people that was very important to me, and that was the song that I related to. And ironically enough, listening to that song at that concert, I still relate to it because of my current situation. So it's like, and what's interesting too is that I got a little bit choked up because James says something pretty heartfelt at the end after that song because that song is about James having certain thoughts because of their dear being stolen.
Yeah.
So, as someone that has been going through hardships recently, hearing that song and hearing what James said definitely gave me hope. I doubt they'll see this, but thanks Metallica for always being there in my life, serving my mood when I need it during my happy
Hey,
times and rough
if
times.
they do, that would be cool.
Um, and then they played another new one, Shadows Follow, another great sounding live track.
Yeah, that one sounded good too.
Um, the next video effect they did, well, let me just put it like this: it's a Master Puppet song. Well, it's not a song; it's an instrumental. And I remember to listen to it, and then once I heard the down, 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 and then the freaking drum part of it, I knew it was freaking Orion.
Yeah.
And
It was great hearing
what?
live.
What do you sound far away for? You're recording. You gotta get close to the mic.
I
Come
am
on now.
close. I am close.
Um, get it together, woman.
I am getting it together. I am close. Damn it.
And that's another song that really. That's another song I play a lot on my guitar and my bass because Cliff Burton, which may he rest in peace, a lot of people consider that his magnus opus. And that's also why I wore my Misfits t-shirt. Because Cliff has a Misfits tattoo, well, had a Misfits tattoo. He always wore a Misfits shirt, the band, and he introduced the band to the Misfits. That's why they became fans of it. So, what was your impression of hearing Orion?
My impression of hearing it, just the instrumental
Mm-hmm.
of it was good. It was great.
Um, yeah, that was great hearing live, and I was hoping that we would get that instrumental because the instrumentals that they played both nights, I definitely prefer the one we got. Um, and then they played Nothing Else Matters, which I was a little bit annoyed that they were playing it, but I understand that, they have to play it. It is a good song. It has an amazing solo by James in it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm just rather sick of it, quite honestly with you. But what was cool was Kirk was using Greenie, which is a 1959 Les Paul that was owned by Peter Green, and Gary Moore, and
Ooh.
so seeing that guitar live was fantastic, and he also used the guitar for Orion too. Um, a lot of the non Lemmy Bar songs, he tended to use Greenie a lot.
I did notice that.
Well, except for one track when he brought out his Jackson V.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of which, the next song was Sad But True.
I recognized that one immediately when they started playing.
It's like, Chicago, do you like heavy? Whoa! Do you like heavy? Whoa! Metallica gives you heavy, baby! Boom! Dun 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 dun! Ding ding! Dun 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 dun! Dun 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 dun! Hi, I'm nerding out over here.
Nothing wrong with
One
that.
little thing I want to say about Nothing Else Matters is that at the end, James did this thing where he kind of put his headstock down onto the stage and he detuned his guitar to the point you could hear feedback, and it was so loud. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. It was really loud.
And then they did another intro, and then once I heard the intro for Blackened, I was happy. I was like, oh, ho, 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 we got a good one.
Yeah.
Another song I play on guitar. And so naturally, I'm going to assume that you liked that song too.
I like, in all honesty, I liked all the songs they played.
I mean, so did I. Even though that I'm sick of hearing Nothing Else Matters.
that, well, I mean, that's understandable because that's a constant.
Yeah. I mean, there are certain songs that they have to play, and that's one of them.
Yeah, so. Can't
Um,
really complain much about it.
the next song I was also happy hearing because it was Fuel.
Give me fuel. As soon as I heard James say that, I'm like, oh, I know exactly which song this is.
And of course, they had Fire, then they had Pyro.
The pyrotechnics for that. So good.
And so that song was great to hear live because that's another great one from what people call the low point of Metallica. And next song they played Seek and Destroy.
Which was. The whole stadium was singing that one.
Oh yeah, of course, like that's as old school you can get. That's from the first album.
Yeah. So everybody in stadium was singing that, and the lights and stuff they had for that was amazing.
Um, and then they ended the show with Master of Puppets.
I loved that so much that they ended with Master of Puppets.
You want to tell them why? I mean, you can go in full detail, babe.
The reason why I was so happy about that, because Master of Puppets was my introduction into Metallica. Because of a friend in high school. That's how I first got introduced into Metallica, was Master of Puppets. And it just...
Let me just go on.
Oh no, you can go ahead and say what you're gonna say. I
No,
interrupted
no,
you.
no. Go ahead. Go ahead. I actually interrupted you. So go ahead.
But yeah, I was happy I got introduced. I wish I would have got introduced to him earlier in life, but didn't because my grade school over here where I live, no one listened to Metallica.
That's understandable.
Yeah, but I'm glad I did get introduced to them in high school because I'm just sitting here going, I'm gonna make sure to try to listen to them as much as possible without getting in trouble at home for it at the time. But that's something I'm not going to get to.
What?
About how I would get in trouble for listening to them at home.
Yeah. Um. So naturally, of course, this was one of the songs that they ended their set list between two nights because of Stranger Things. Although honestly, I would rather hear this song as the final song than what Night Two got, which they got in Sandman.
They also got
Speaking of
another
Night
song.
Two,
They played another song that triggered you.
let me just put it to you this way: do I think that our set list was good? Yes, but Night Two, they had a pretty stacked net set list themselves. They had Whiplash. They had For Whom the Bell Tolls, Ride the Lightning Until It Sleeps. Although I think with Drinking Nothing and Until It Sleeps, King I think King Nothing is a better song. Um, they got Lux Eterna, Screaming Game Over, SS, you know,
Yeah.
because I can't say a certain word on YouTube, such an
Yeah.
as an E.
Yeah.
Um, Kirk and Rob Doodle. This time was a Ministry song, just one fix. Then they did
Ah.
the day. Then they did the day that never comes from Death Magnetic. Wherever I may roam, the Call of Cthulhu, which was of course dedicated to Cliff Burton, just like Orion was.
Yep.
In Murata, which was dedicated to a 18-year-old fan in Make a Wish program.
Aw.
The 13th song is what really annoyed me. Let me just put it to you like this, guys. My first album that got me into Metallica was Ride the Lightning. The opening song was Fight Fire with Fire. It was because of that song. Because it starts out all pretty with acoustic intros, and then that riff starts, and it just completely punches you in the face. Did they play that song in night one? No. It would have been cool. I probably would have. I mean, honestly, as weird as it is, because of how heavy and fast it is, I probably would have started bawling my eyes out. Um, Seeing this particular song really made me wish that we could have gone to both shows.
I know. He got really triggered learning the fact about that. Which I can't blame him. That's the song that got him to start playing guitar.
And I swear, if they play that song because I actually asked them if they could. I'm not sure if they saw my comment, but it's kind of funny that they played it at the show that I saw. Well, that I didn't see, but I think I did say that the ninth show. I can't remember. I mean, actually, too, like I know that they're not going to just play one song because of one fan ass. I understand that, but it still would have been a cool moment that they played this song live. And plus, the ego part of me would have been cool if James said like, hey, this is dedicated to a fan that asked us to play this. So if you're here you go.
You on the inside eternally dying.
Then they played Moth in a Flame. Then they played One, and then they played Enter Sandman. And from what I noticed, both set lists tend to have a similar theme. They start out with a very thrashy song. Their second song is a bit more like punchy, heavy.
Yee.
Um, the third song is something from Load. Um, the fifth song is always something from the new album. They do like a two new, yeah. Um, so yeah, this is why if they do this whole two two different shows with two different set list thing again, I'm gonna get tickets for both shows.
Both, yeah.
And next time, I'm gonna get Snake Pit tickets because, like I said,
Ooh.
I'm happy that I saw them. I'm not ungrateful that I wasn't able to, because this was the last concert that my mom gave me the okay that we could get tickets for and all that. Um, it's just as a big fan of them, and I felt this way for Guns N' Roses too when I saw them back in 2016. I would rather be in front of the stage, or in this case, in the stage.
Yeah, their stage they had set up was cool.
Um, it was a fantastic concert. It definitely was just a overall great experience. Um, Metallica has always been better live than, as much as people are going to make fun of Kirk and Lars because of Lars not practicing um, anymore. And you guys heard that my controller fell. Sorry,
That's
you guys heard
fine.
that.
It was just
And
a little
Kirk,
echo.
and a lot of people feel like Kirk doesn't doesn't play solos that well anymore. It's very easy to judge them because of a YouTube recording, but going there live, you tend not to care if they mess up because I get it. They're musicians, they're going to mess up from time to time. And I'm sure
Oh
that they've
yeah.
messed up during the 80s too.
Oh, you know they
Um,
did.
so, is there any final thoughts you want to say?
Besides that, my first experience with a concert was amazing. Even though I was kind of like, it wasn't exactly. I don't think I was like starstruck. It was more of I was in shock.
Yeah.
But
Um,
it was amazing.
I was
I
definitely,
loved it.
I was definitely sort of shocked. Ironically enough, James mentioned how shout out the new fans that if this is your first time seeing us, then welcome to the Metallica
Metallica
family. Don't
family.
leave.
Yeah,
And
don't
then here's
leave.
me, and then here's me like, well, thank you, but
I've been a
I
fan
think
for
I'm
quite some time now. I think I've been part of the family for quite some time.
yeah, yeah, but I understand what he means because going to a live Metallica show is totally different than listening to their albums.
Oh, yeah.
Um, do I plan on seeing them again? Of course. But next time, I'm going to make sure I'm up front. Like I said, I'm not ungrateful. I'm happy I was able to see them. But next time, I'm being down in front of the stage or in the stage. Assuming, of course, they have that stage lineup still.
Yeah, exactly.
So, any more things you want to say? Because I feel like I did most of the talking here.
Uh, well, you're more experienced in this than I am, so I'm not going to be able to say much.
That's fair.
But as my first experience, I do want to end up going to more when I can.
We will. I'll definitely make sure to keep an eye out for any bands and all that comes near me. So,
I had a really fun time.
I'm glad you did.
Yay.
It's like I said, you can't beat the first show that you go to when it comes to a
No.
concert. And to be honest, though, too, considering that you saw a pretty big one, a lot of people compare different live shows together. I get the feeling, unless you see a band that can do better than Metallica, I think Metallica is always going to be one of those shows you're gonna look back on, even after like they're retired or God, I hope this never happens. When like they all pass away. God, my heart hurts kind of thinking about that now.
Yeah, you don't
Um,
want to think about that for too long there, dear.
um, you're always gonna look back at that concert and be like, you know what? I've seen a lot of great bands, but nothing beats that Metallica concert.
Yeah.
I know that for me, that concert is probably in my top three favorites that I've ever seen.
Well, right now, since it's the only one I've seen, it's my top one.
That's fair. So, anyways, you guys, you want to sign us off?
Anyways, guys, if you liked the video, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.
Later, guys.